Hey guys, it's Adam here, live, well, not live really, but I've been out in Los Angeles. I am in Los Angeles for E3. I'm very tired. It's very hot. It is really hot out. Like, seriously, what the hell? But anyway, I'm walking a whole lot in it, and I need my steps. I'm out of shape. But anyway, so, yes, we're going to be talking about the Ubisoft conference for E3 2019. They were cool enough to have me at that, and then I got to go check out their VIP lounge and play some games and stuff, so I thought I'd give you some opinions and all that stuff. Go over the conference. And, yeah, just talk about that kind of thing. So, thank you guys for your patience, because I know all my videos in a row for a while now have just been these, like, portable ones done on my phone. And then it's funny, because how this has kind of played out, actually, because first I had to film some stuff. I had to film one out in West Virginia where I was talking about some Shenmue updates. And the audio was bad and the video was okay, whatever. But you guys forgave me. Second time around, it was like I was in San Francisco and you're like, yeah, this one's a little more annoying. The audio is really not as good. And video's fine, I guess, but there's nothing interesting that I'm looking at. Then the last couple videos, the conference videos on the Xbox and Bethesda, it was like, we accept this, but the audio's bad, and we're not accepting that much longer. So I appreciate the honesty, and it's serendipitous how this all worked out, because people were upset about how I was holding the camera. When I came into my hotel after day one of this, there was just this random little free tripod type of thing. It's actually like a rubber hand-looking thing. But it's designed specifically to hold your phone, so I actually have my phone being held up right now on a chair, like an office chair, that just kind of holds it in place, and so you get a nice shot. But then people are like, no, the audio still sucks, they'll work on that. So I have a solution. Have you noticed the audio sounds pretty good in this one? There's a reason. I met up with the people at AverMedia, and they were cool enough to give me this. This is the AverMedia Live Streamer Mic 133. They actually also gave me another little toy. This is the GC311 Live Gamer Mini Portable. Yeah, this is a capture device, which is really cool. So, just to capture video game footage. Now, obviously, I have no use for that for this particular video, but I thought you guys would like to see it anyway. But yeah, this is the new mic I'm using, at least portably. I'm going to try and integrate this with my system when we get home, and who knows, maybe finally videos can move on and get better. But time enough for that later. We're here to talk about the conference, and I'm sorry that it took 2.5 minutes to get to that point. But, yes, I went to the Ubisoft conference, and they were cool enough to also give me some freebies. We got a free hat here, a couple of free pins that use the modern logo as well as their original logo that a lot of people don't remember. You can look up the actual logos, and they're much nicer. And then a free, like, little tote bag type of thing. Actually, AverMedia also gave me a free little bag here. They gave me this, like, towel thing and a water bottle. It was a weird day. But anyway, oh, and I think they had a problem with the way no, not really. But yeah, some hand sanitizer. These are essential at all conventions. Okay, now for real. Let's talk about the conference. So, yeah, so Ubisoft opened up the conference with the Assassin's Creed Symphony Tour. And I have my little notes here that I wrote down while I was there. So they played a song from Assassin's Creed. It was very nice. It was very enjoyable. The music from that game series is quite good. And then they talked about how it was going to be available in different cities, and that was just a sample of it. In the States, I know it'll be in San Francisco. I want to say New York. It'll be in Toronto and Paris and London. A lot of places where Ubisoft actually has offices, so that kind of makes sense. And then a few other cities as well. So if you're really in Assassin's Creed and you like the music, you got an option to see in a live orchestra. And I got a small sample of that. It was pretty neat. After that, they did the big guns. Watch Dogs Legion, which originally I believe was meant to be a surprise, but it leaked out. So they just kind of owned that. And they spent a lot of time talking about that game. And it looks really good. It takes place in London. And in this game, as opposed to playing as like one protagonist, you can apparently like recruit anybody. Like anybody on the street can become a character, and you can use them, which is an interesting dynamic. And like you can even play as like old ladies and stuff. And it was really cool actually. They showed a lot of that because people just got a kick out of playing as old ladies, violent old ladies, and it was really, really very neat. That game was available to play but not capture at the private lounge thing, so I wanted to do that, but I just kind of ran out of time focusing on the other stuff. I wanted to get the capturable stuff first, but yeah, Watch Dogs Legion looks pretty good. It's just a very quick recap on that, obviously. Then they showed a game called Mythic Quest. Or no, sorry, it was not a game, this is a show. So Ubisoft seems to be going in this direction of like some video production to an extent. I mean, they had the Assassin's Creed movie, but then they talked about this show called Mythic Quest. Now, Mythic Quest is actually a show made by the guy who made It's Sunny in Philadelphia. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and the premise is, and he came up with this idea. He's like, I want to know what it would be like to be a game developer and be like the director of a specific game. And he's like, they have like massive egos and stuff, and he was making jokes about that. And but he's like, I want to be that guy. And so they apparently went out to Ubisoft and decided, hey, you guys are a game studio. What can you teach me? Blah blah blah. So I guess Ubisoft will be working in conjunction with this new comedy television series. It was a little weird to see that here, but since Ubisoft is so directly involved, I guess it does make sense. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that show. Rainbow Six Siege is getting updates. There's new DLC and new content coming. They showed a lot of that. I always have a soft spot in my heart for that game because it is the game that Ubisoft first ever brought me to an invite event for in Los Angeles, funny enough, here. Very fun event, very cool time, and so I will always appreciate that game. Brawlhalla Adventure Time crossover. Brawlhalla is a fighting game that's been out for a little while, like a cartoony 2D one, but they're integrating Jake and Finn from Adventure Time into it, so that's cool. If you're into that game, more characters, especially if you're in Adventure Time, then you now have them in another game. And then they showed the next big thing that they had, which was Ghost Recon Breakpoint. So this is the sequel to Ghost Recon Wildlands, and it looked pretty good. I mean, the lead actor from the Punisher Netflix show, and I believe he's also in The Walking Dead, he actually came out on stage with a dog, which is cool. And yeah, so he's like he was a force for good in past lore, and now he's the antagonist, if you will. And yeah, I got to play this one actually at the lounge afterwards, and I actually captured it. So I will have a video of it at some point on my channel that you guys can check out if you want to see more gameplay of it. So suffice it to say, very cool. Then they showed Terminator stuff, which was funny because they were showing how Terminator is, like, as the franchise, like the Terminator, is going to be integrated in, I believe it's into Ghost Recon, which I was like, really? Because, like, I believe it was Gears 5 at the Xbox conference is also going to have Terminator integration. And I was like, James Cameron, now that you have the rights back to Terminator, you were doing some weird stuff with it, but whatever. Obviously, it's partially to promote Dark Fate, the new movie, but it's just kind of funny to see two completely separate games that are going to have Terminators integrated into them. Okay. Then they showed Elite Squad. Now, Elite Squad was Sam Fisher's only cameo at this particular event. A lot of people were hoping, myself included, that a new Splinter Cell game was around the corner, but that did not happen. But he did show up in this. It was kind of a crossover of a lot of Ubisoft legacy characters in a mobile game. And I'm very much in favor of the idea of taking a lot of these characters and making crossover games and stuff like that. And I don't mean like, kart racers, although I bet Ubisoft could probably do a killer kart racer with their legacy characters. Or a Smash Brothers, per se, which I think is just like the too obvious one. But still, they could do something more than just put them into a mobile game. So if you're into mobile games, and I'm sure a lot of people are, then that could be for you, but that's not really my area. So that's the end of my first page. Second page. So then they went on to talk about Just Dance 2020, which is apparently the 10th anniversary of Just Dance. And Just Dance is certainly not the franchise I've ever been super into or anything like that. But, I mean, look at me. I'm in terrible shape. I'm not going to Just Dance. I'm going to just barely move. But, yeah, so the thing that I found fascinating about that, though, is that this game was the only hope that Wii U collectors, such as myself, had of any chance of another Wii U title. We all 12 of us waited with bated breath to see if there was going to be a Wii U version of this game, but there is not. There is, however, going to be an original Wii version. The console that launched in 2005. 15 years later, you got to give props, man. Got to give it props. Well, almost 15. Props for having a brand new, officially licensed game. That's impressive. And you might wonder why that is. Now, the PR answer for that, I'm sure, would be, well, you can play the Wii version on the Wii U if you really want to. But the reality is the Wii U version sold, like, pathetically, whereas the original Wii version, I've heard, actually was the highest selling version of Just Dance 2019. So clearly there's still money to be made there for that particular franchise. So hence it keeps going. So yeah, that'll be a thing. Then they showed For Honor DLC, specifically Shadows of the Hitokiri, which looked pretty neat. So I can only imagine a lot of people who are super into For Honor will be very much into that. Then they did this cool trailer for... It looked like, at first it was a mystery. It was like, is this a new game? What is this? What's going on? It's this guy, and he's like infected, and his arm's all hurt, and it's like doing all sorts of things. And, you know, he's clearly in some shit. It's serious. And then he gets rescued, and you find out this is a new game called Rainbow Six Quarantine. So this is actually a brand new Rainbow Six game. This is not DLC for Rainbow Six Siege. It is finally announced there's going to be a new Rainbow Six game, which is great. So, you know, congratulations to all that, because I'm looking forward to checking that out. But that's pretty much all we got to find out about that one, because it's still very early on. Then they showed Division 2 DLC. I guess there's a couple of missions I remember offhand that you're going to go back to New York, and they're doing a thing there. And then there's also the mission to take the Pentagon, which is America's last fortress. So that'll be a fun thing to check out. Division 2 is a pretty cool game, by the way. You know, it's not the kind of game you would think I would like, but I actually do quite enjoy it. Then they went on to talk about their new service called Uplay Plus, which will be available for both PC and Stadia or Stadia. I've heard people pronounce it all different ways, although there's an objectively correct and incorrect way. Like with Ubisoft, it is Ubisoft. I've heard Ubisoft, which is wrong. And the way you can remember it is Ubisoft is short for ubiquitous software, Ubisoft. But anyway, so I don't remember how to pronounce Stadia or Stadia. I don't know which one's accurate yet. My bad. But anyway, so yeah, their new service is going to be $14.99 a month, and it gets you access to like a massive catalog of Ubisoft games, over 100+ games that span over well over a decade of content that will be available on those platforms for you to just jump in and out of and play as much as you want. So that'll be a thing. It didn't make there's no mention of consoles though, so it's not going to be like on an Xbox One or anything like that, which essentially would be the Game Pass equivalency. Then they went on to talk about Roller Champions. Now, Roller Champions was pretty cool. I got to play that one, and that one's a lot of fun. To me, it looked and felt a lot like Ubisoft's answer to Rocket League, and I'm sure a lot of people kind of walked away having that same vibe. But yeah, it was really cool. Rather than using cars, you're obviously people on who are skating and stuff. But it was neat. Yeah, and it was surprisingly addictive. It took only a couple of minutes to kind of get into it, and once you've really got it, you're like, oh, it becomes like, I want to win. So it was quite enjoyable. Then next up, they brought out the president of Ubisoft. Like, he's one of the founders of it. And I feel like I haven't been following the social media on this, but I imagine a lot of people were like, why is he struggling to make it through this speech? Because I've heard him speak publicly before, and he's solid. I have to defend him here, though, because when I was at the conference, I don't know if you guys could hear this on the live stream or not, if you won't go back and watch it, but he comes out and he starts fine, and then he starts to taper off a little bit, and he seems a little out of it. There's a very good reason for this. There was a guy who was left of me, like way down there, whose phone just started ringing, just going off, and he wasn't attempting to stop it, he wasn't trying to mute it, he didn't take the call, he just let it ring. And I know personally that when you're on a stage or when you're trying to focus on something, when you're speaking a lot, if it's like a quiet environment and there's just a distracting noise, and you're supposed to be talking, it will throw off your rhythm and you'll not quite know how to focus. You see my point? You'll have the inability to really get through what you're trying to do. And then so I feel bad for the dude. I don't know how social media has reacted to that, but it wasn't at all the dude's fault. There was a whole bunch of us just like, dude, shut off your phone. What are you doing? But no. But anyway, then the last thing that came out was a new game, brand new IP. And it was created by the Assassin's Creed developers. Now, this one, for a very split second, if you saw my predictions video, I thought that Ubisoft and Nintendo might be doing another game together, and this is where I thought that might happen, because after they were showing all this stuff, they were showing, like, these are gods and Greek gods and all that kind of stuff, lore of that kind of nature, and I saw this figure. He looked a little bit like Nike, like that god. And then I saw him, and I'm like, holy shit, it's Kid Icarus. And I thought, oh, wow, Ubisoft and Nintendo are making a Kid Icarus game. But no, it's their own brand new IP, which is totally cool. It's just for a split second, that's what I thought that might have been. So, yeah, anyway, that was that. So that pretty much does it for the Ubisoft conference, and it was a really fun time to be at that, and thank you very much to them. I would say it was better than the Bethesda conference. I unfortunately did not see the Square Enix conference. I am going to attempt to watch the Nintendo one tomorrow, or it's not really a conference, but their thing, and I'll try to do a video on that. And a couple other things. This is not related to this particular conference, but a couple of things have happened today. A lot of stuff with Shenmue. I might just make a separate video about that. And then also Xbox did an interesting announcement. Backwards compatibility program for Xbox One is coming to an end, but they went out with a bang where they were there's a whole bunch of Xbox 360 stuff, a whole bunch of 4K updates for games, and then 8 original Xbox games are now compatible. And funny enough, well, a bunch of them are Ubisoft stuff actually, and then same with the 360. The entire Splinter Cell, all 4 games of Splinter Cell from the original Xbox are going to be backwards compatible. Also, a little known obscure game that I predicted would become compatible like a year and a half ago. And I got a bunch of, I wouldn't say a bunch of shit, but nobody really took me seriously. Everybody's like, why would you pick that game? Which I had a good reason for. Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy is backwards compatible now, or will be. And I said that. I fucking said that like a year and a half ago. And everybody's like, why? And I was like, because I got PR emails from that team saying that that game, the classic GameCube and Xbox PS2 game, was coming back for PC, Android, and iOS. And I'm like, the rights have been refreshed. So that's a perfect title for Xbox backwards compatibility. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody cared. Nobody believed me. Boom! Like, I called that shit. I told you. But anyway, so that was a thing. But sadly, yes, that means the backwards compatibility program is coming to an end, not just for original Xbox, but also Xbox 360. But then they implied that the Project Scarlet is going to have a much bigger backwards compatibility situation happening there, which I talked more about in my Xbox One video, again, as to what I think they're doing. But yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But I mean, that's the first sign, everybody. They are shutting down the Xbox One. Get ready. It's coming because they're amping up for Project Scarlet. Microsoft is very good at support in a lot of ways, but in a lot of other directions, a lot of other areas, they just shut stuff off. So, yeah. But that all about do it here. Just a couple of announcements if you missed it. Obviously, I'm in Los Angeles for E3, so come on out. If you see me, whatever, say hi, whatever. I'll be at Too Many Games in Philadelphia. I will also be in St. Louis for the Missouri Game Con, so please check that out. If you can, like, subscribe, all that stuff. I hate saying it, but I really do appreciate it. The whole like, subscribe, I hate it. I really do hate saying that, but please do it. Also, again, thank you to Ubisoft. Thank you to the guys at Aver Media for this. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you all later.